गंधर्व के गिरिधारी शिष्य राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashuttara Shutta Shishimar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Surup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाथ गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय श्री चातुर्मास्य व्रत की जय। व्रत पालन करी भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री what is it? जय नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्रीमद् भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति दायित माधव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोसाई महाराज की जय। All the associates of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And today is Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Hriday Ban Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Today Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Saurabh Sar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Today Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shri Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Okay, so 1 second, just opening up the Mangala Charan. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Bharatimingilo Daragatan Udrita Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukang Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamatanum Yamuna Tatanagaranandasutam Murali Kalagita Vinora Parang Bhajago Drumakanana Kunja Vidum Smarago Gadadara Kelikalam Bhavago Gadadara Pakshachara Shinugo Gadadara Charu Kathang Bhajago Drumakanana Kunja Vidum Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vina, iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai, kshiptascha kama ditaranga madhe, kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna, vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's recite Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Praṇāma now. Shri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya kṛpaika vittaḥ maryādā rakṣati vaiṣṇavānāṁ kṛpāvalaṁ Mādhava preṣṭha kāmī Śrī bhaktidaṁ bhāratim āśrayāmaḥ. Right, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Let's see who's there. Champak Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, oh, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, and Devananda Prabhu, Hari Bol. And let's see on YouTube and Facebook. I opened it a little bit late, so I might be missing some comments. But I see Krishna Mai Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, and Vraj Lovers. And whoever else is there, I don't know. If you write a comment, I'll see your name, but I'm guessing Indira Mataji and Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, maybe Rohini Nandan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And also pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, and Jayadev Prabhu. Hare Bol. So, on Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Vyas Puja Day, well, first was Ambarish Prabhu's Pushpanjali, but then we started reading this Remembrance of Separation series. And I wanted to complete it. We're going to read the parts about the separation part, about his entering Nitya Leela and all that. We'll read that on his disappearance day, but I wanted to at least finish everything else. And so today we started reading a part in that series about the mantras that he received from different associates of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So we read about the mantras that he received from Srila Bhakti Kumud Santa Gosai Maharaj and our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Brigyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj. And today we'll read about the mantras he received from other acharyas. I don't know which ones. I think Srila Shira Gosai Maharaj, I think Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Gosai Maharaj, but I can't remember who else. Also, as Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosai Maharaj very strongly emphasized in like many times, more than dozens of times a year, maybe, I don't know, like it's felt like every other day almost. He was mentioning this point, how he would always start his class, Aaj ek vishesh titi hai. Today is a very special titi. And then he'd go on to describe the glories of some associate of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada or some other great personality. And he would always emphasize that if when these personalities come to us on their day, if we neglect them, if we ignore them when they've come to us, then that is an aparad. And so today is the disappearance day of Śrīla Bhakti Hriday Bhan Goswami Maharaj and Śrīla Bhakti Saurabh Sar Goswami Maharaj. So we will also see what there is on vcvani.com. And I want to complete our Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj readings today so that we can continue on with our Shikshashtak program. So, okay. On Haribo Ladini Shakti Didi. Okay, so, and look, this is the calendar. I have a WhatsApp group, TT Countdown group. And in 2 days will be Srila Bhakti Jivan Acharya Maharaj, who we read about recently. Amazing personality. I never knew about him before. And then Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami is in 3 days. Lokanath Goswami is in 6 days. And Kamika Akadashi is in 9 days. Okay. All right, so where are we? Okay, so we have to go to bcvani.com. Sorry, I didn't open it up yet. Let me open up in a new window. Okay, where is it? bcvani.com. Okay, so there are 2 classes here that we'll read at the end. Okay, remembrance and separation. Let's see, who are we going to read about today? Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣak Śrīla Goswami Maharaj. And, intimacy with our Śrīla Gurudev. And Śrīla Bhakti Vichara Jajavar Goswami Maharaj. Okay. Oh, and then there's also a few self-written ideals, which we haven't read yet. Okay. Anyhow, let's begin with mantras received. Actually, no, let's recap. Let's see what are the mantras that he received from Śrīla Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj. And the introduction, this short introduction, it says, Srila Mahārāja used to say, although I received my Diksha mantras from my Guru Parma, I received various mantras from the many disciples of Srila Prabhupada. In other words, I received mantras in the form of the many teachings from them. Among those, we are presenting a few mantras here from the very words of Srila Mahārāja. So the mantra that he received from Srila Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj was, do not become puffed up like a balloon by words of praise from ordinary people. And alternatively, do not let their criticism deflate your enthusiasm, because the criticisms or praises of ordinary people are compelled by the discontentment or gratification of their selfish motives, respectively. Okay, so now the mantra is received from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Let's see, what was it? Okay. Never compromise when it comes to principles. Lead your life with the sole aim of protecting principles. We are not here to deal in real estate business, but to serve the Vaishnavas. Okay, and now Srila Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Goswami Maharaj. I just want to jump ahead to see what it is. Always focus on the deep meaning of the kirtans and follow the innermost moods of the Vaishnav who composed it. Become Ugra Shrava and always be situated in spontaneous humility born from the influence of advanced association. This is the key to unearthing the profound meaning of the doctrine Trinadapi Sunichena as preached by Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. Okay, so let's read this section. I'm just going to put it on the Word document so you can all read along with me. Here. Okay. So the mantra received from Śrīmad Bhakti Rakṣakṣhīla Goswami Maharaj. One day, Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣakṣhīla Goswami Maharaj instructed me, saying, "You should never lay emphasis on the rhythm, musical meter, melody, and other nuances of kirtan. Instead, always focus on its deep meaning and try to follow the inner mood of the Vaishnav who composed it." So we should try to do everything nicely. He didn't say, don't, he said, don't lay emphasis. So we don't emphasize these things. We shouldn't, everything should be nice, but we shouldn't put emphasis on the meter, melody, rhythm, and other nuances of the kirtan. We should always focus on the deep meaning of the kirtan and try to follow the inner mood of the Vaishnav who composed it. On another occasion, he instructed me, try to become Ugra Shrava, that is, always hear the narrations of Bhagavan's pastimes exclusively from the lotus lips of advanced devotees, for such narrations are tremendously powerful. I inquired, Maharaj, how will it be possible for me to always hear from advanced devotees? Śrīla Goswami Maharaj replied, everything is possible through the medium of service. Serve advanced devotees whenever you receive the opportunity to do so. On yet another occasion, while sharing some incidents from his life, he said to me, one time, your Gurudev, Srila Mādhava Mahārāja, requested me to chair a debate held in Madras between Dr. Radhakrishnan, a strong proponent of the school of Advaitavad, and Dr. Nagaraj Sharma, a firm promoter of Dvaitavad. In my opening address, I explained, although I am not qualified to act as a chairman for this debate, I have become inclined to accept this position only in trying to keep the instructions of the Vaishnavas upon my head. Dvaitavadi Dr. Nagaraj Sharma refuted my stance, saying, it is not incumbent on the Vaishnavas to exhibit their humility in all places and circumstances. In my concluding speech, I responded to his statement, saying, to the extent one remains in advanced association, to that extent, humility naturally manifests in him. And to the extent one remains in inferior association, that much more pride is born in him. By the influence of advanced association, the mood of dasosmi, I am your servant, appears in Vaishnavas. And by the influence of inferior association, the mood of aham brahmasmi, I am Brahma, I am the absolute truth, appears in non-Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas do not exhibit show-bottle humility. Rather, spontaneous humility manifests in their hearts innately by virtue of advanced association. So in this manner, I received from Śrīla Goswami Maharaj the following mantras. Always focus on the deep meaning of the kirtan and follow the innermost moods of the Vaishnav who composed it. Become Ugra Shrava. And always be situated in spontaneous humility born from the influence of advanced association. This is the key to unearthing the profound meaning of the doctrine Trinārapi Sunichena, as preached by Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. Oh, there's another one here. Interesting. How did that come up? Oh. Okay, so now this is the mantra received from, this point though is so important about humility. Yeah. If we compare ourselves to those inferior to us, we'll feel pride. But if we're focused on our Guru Varga, who is like, we can't even begin to imagine their glories, like then in comparison to them, we'll feel like a tiny speck. Like that's real humility, is when you're actually realizing the glories and focused on the glories of our Guru Varga. Okay, so the mantra received from Śrīmad Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. Once, while Srila Gosvāmī Mahārāja manifested a sickness pastime, I bought a portable commode made of cane from Navadvip for him. When Srila Gosvāmī Mahārāja saw it, he told me, I can never use this commode because every time I attend to nature's call, some Vaishnava will have to clean it. In my entire life, I've never considered any Vaishnava to be my servant. I have always regarded all Vaishnavas as worthy of my service, whether they happen to be my seniors or juniors. I have not come to the mat to serve Bhagavan, but with the objective to serve the Vaishnavas. Service to Bhagavan can be obtained anywhere. However, an opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas is extremely rare. I received this mantra from him and decided that I would lead my life not for the service of Bhagavan, but for the service of the Vaishnavas. And I would accept all Vaishnavas as objects of my service, regardless of them being my seniors or juniors. Wow, beautiful. Okay, and now we come to, let me close this. We come to the mantras he received from, I think from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī. Yeah. One second. Okay. So the mantra received from Śrīmad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī. Once, in connection to something we were discussing, Srila Jajavar Goswami Maharaj told me, an eminent astrologer informed me, you are most certain to get married and enter household life. No one can avoid it. For this reason, despite Srila Prabhupada's desire to award me sannyas, I was fearful of accepting it. However, when Srila Prabhupada explained, sannyas means to completely surrender at the lotus feet of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. What is the fear in taking shelter of Abhay Charanaravinda Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the one whose lotus feet bestow fearlessness? Upon hearing this, I gathered the courage to accept sannyas. According to the words of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishna Bhakta Jadi Hoy, Krishna Bhakta Jadi Hoy Balavan, Vidhir Kalama Kati Kore Khana Khan. By the spiritual strength acquired due to the influence of Krishna Bhakti, the devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa cuts to pieces the will of providence scribed by the pen of his destiny. Ah, that's a great verse. The devotee of Krishna cuts to pieces the will of providence scribed by the pen of his destiny. Wow. As said in this verse, the lines on my palm changed, and consequently, I was not obligated to be bound in wedlock. In this way, I received the mantra from Srila Jajavar Goswami Maharaj that a devotee should never pay much attention to the predictions made by any astrologer from examining the horoscope, lines on the palms, signs on the feet, and so on. One must instead give more credence to the words of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Once during the deity installation at Sri Chaitanya Gauriya Math, many disciples of Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, including Srila Jajavar Goswami Maharaj, arrived. I was given the responsibility of serving prasad to all those disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj had organized a 5-day dharma sabha, a religious convention. One day, a very attractive young sannyasi disciple of Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, he spoke Harikatha in English. The next morning, while honoring prasad, Śrīmad Bhakti Vikash Rishikesh Goswami Maharaj, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, began praising that young sannyasi who had spoken the previous day. Hearing this praise, Srila Jajavar Goswami Maharaj immediately interrupted Srila Rishikesh Goswami Maharaj in a thundering voice, exhorting, First let him live his life at least. There will be enough time for glorification later. And before glorifying anyone, one should contemplate on this Bengali proverb. Morile jodi udale chai, tabe satir guna gai. Which means one should not glorify any chaste woman as chaste until her body is cremated and the ashes disperse into thin air. As well as the words of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Kaya Deki Chosa. That means one must thoroughly assess the behavior of an individual whom he is glorifying through various dealings. I accepted the above-mentioned principle of Srila Jajavar Goswami Maharaj as a mantra. On another occasion, Srila Jajavar Goswami Maharaj came to our Puri Mat upon receiving an invite sent by Guru Maharaj for Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day festival. Upon arriving, he placed his bedding and baggage on one side and joined the kirtan. As soon as I reached there, the sound of his kirtan fell upon my ears, and upon seeing him with his bedding and baggage at a distance, I could not understand why Srila Maharaj chose to participate in the kirtan without worrying about the arrangement for his accommodation and luggage, or taking time to bathe, honor prasad, and rest. Following the kirtan, I inquired from him about this. Srila Maharaj replied, "What is the rationale behind expecting an accommodation or even a place to keep my luggage until I render some service upon arriving at the mat?" I accepted this precept of his as a mantra as well. Be nice to turn these into small mantras, like a little sutra. Anyhow, okay, so now let's go to... Okay, let's read about... wait. Oh, oops, I almost skipped this one. The mantra received from Śrīmad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. There's no picture here, so I almost missed it. Okay. 1 second. And then after this, I think we'll read about Śrīla Bhakti Hridaya Bhan Goswami Maharaj and Bhakti Saurabh Sar Goswami Maharaj. Okay. Oops. Okay, so tranquility experienced only at the lotus feet of exalted Vaishnavas. So this is Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Busily engaged in the service of Guru and Vaishnavas, I did not have the slightest inkling as to how 24 years passed by before Guru Maharaj devised his unmanifest pastime, his aprakat lila. Thereafter, Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj became our guardian. He would guide us on how to conduct ourselves, what we should do, what is appropriate and what is not, etc. Only at his lotus feet, or in his shelter, I would experience tranquility, nowhere else. Wow. So he really took shelter of Śrīla Bhakti Puri Goswami Maharaj after Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Goswami Maharaj entered Nitya Lila in, what was it, 1979, I think. So the mantra received from Śrīmad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Once, Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj was ecstatically singing in front of Sri Jagannath's chariot. Sheto paranata painu, jahalagi madana dahane jurigenu. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. There was a bag hanging from his shoulder, in which he would carry a kirtan book, bead bag, and other small miscellaneous items. Just as one pickpocket, citing an opportunity, reached into Śrīla Puri Goswami Maharaj's bag, my godbrother, Sri Narayan Kapoor, caught that pickpocket's hands and began to loudly proclaim with great pride, "I have caught the pickpocket! I have caught the pickpocket!" Repeating this over and over again, he somehow managed to get the attention of Śrīla Puri Goswami Maharaj, who chastised him. He said, Money will come and go. Whoever wants it may take it. But can this mood that has now awakened be attained at all times? Sri Narayan Kapoor then said to me, I was only doing a good deed. I cannot understand why Mahārāja chastised me in return. Although Sri Narayan Kapoor could not comprehend Srila Puri Goswami Maharaja's response, I accepted the essence of his words in the form of a mantra. So the mantra is, when spontaneous bhav arises for Bhagavan, all other things become inferior in comparison. When spontaneous bhav arises for Bhagavan, all other things become inferior in comparison. Once, under the guidance of Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj, I went to Śrīmad Bhakti Saurabh Bhaktisar Goswami Maharaj's mat, Bhaktisar Goswami Maharaj, whose disappearance day it is today. So I went to his mat in Mayapur to attend a deity installation festival. I actually don't know which one is his mat, but I'm here in Mayapur right now, so I probably should go. While honoring Prasad, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj made me sit next to him. Srila Bhakti Saurabh Bhaktisar Goswami. Oh wait. Let me just look at the calendar. It says Bhaktisar. I think maybe I need to fix that in the calendar. Let me just look at the calendar. I think I just wrote Sar Maharaj. Unless this is a different person. 1 second. Sorry. So today is... Okay. So I guess his full name is Bhakti Saurabh Bhaktisar Goswami Maharaj. Interesting. Okay. So Srila Bhakti Saurabh Bhaktisar Goswami Maharaj, with his own hands, served parboiled processed rice onto Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj's plate. And because I was seated next to Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj, he served that same rice onto my plate as well, in spite of being my Guru Varga. And parboiled rice, that's actually what we eat in our mat in Navadvip is always parboiled rice, because we just get the bhiksha rice, and usually bhiksha rice, it's like the short fat rice. They boil it beforehand, and so then it cooks. It's really easy to cook, but it's not very nice either. It's like the cheaper rice, but yeah. It's what they serve out on Navadvip Parikrama, because that's what when we do bhiksha, that everybody gives that type of rice. But generally, you don't eat it in, like, it's not the highest standard to eat it because it's been cooked by non-devotees. You know, like everybody in Bengal eats meat, and then they're the ones who cook that rice and pre-cook it. And so then it's like, it's cooked by a non-devotee. And so it's not really, you're not supposed to offer that to Thakurji. Usually, like what they do in the mat, like in our Keshivji Gaudiya Mat, also because we have so much of this rice left over, so that's what we feed everybody. But we never serve that. We never offer that to Thakurji. We offer the nice rice. All right, so because I was seated next to Srila Puri Maharaj, he served that same rice on my plate as well, despite being my Guru Varga. Prior to that day, neither Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj nor myself had ever accepted parboiled rice in our entire life. Reading my state of mind, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj said, everything offered by a Vaishnav is nirgun, or transcendental. And he began to honor the rice prasad. Following Srila Mahārāja's precept, I also honored the rice prasad. And from that day on, I accepted the words of Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj as a mantra and abided by them throughout my life. Oh, and I'm just seeing a bunch of comments. Haribol, Gopali Didi. Okay, and what are we reading from? We are reading from if you go to vcvani.com, go to resources, and then you'll see something. It says Remembrance and Separation. So we're reading that series, Remembrance and Separation. Oh wait, Hladini Shakti already answered. Sorry. Okay. And Haribol Ganga Mataji. Okay, so once my godbrother, Shri Vishnu Prabhu, and I were seated with Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj at Kolkata station in a train bound for Jagannath Puri. Upon noticing us, one very affluent Grihastha Vaishnav approached and began to heavily chastise Sri Vishnu Prabhu. Later, taking a large sum of donation in his hands, he offered it to Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj, who responded by saying, "You have committed an offense to a Vaishnav. What to speak of accepting anything from you? I don't wish to even speak or have any relationship with you." That affluent person said, "Maharaj, I wish to serve you. Please accept my offering." Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj retorted, "If I accept anything offered by you, then I will have to share the result of the offense you have committed. Therefore, I shall not accept anything from you." Despite his many endeavors, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj did not accept anything from him. I noted those words of Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj as a mantra. By accepting anything offered by an offender, one has to share the result of his offense. Since then, I have followed this principle throughout my life. Wow, very important. Okay, so now we will read about Bhakti Soda. Where is it? Oops, home. Okay. Okay, Bhakti Soda Bhakti Sada Goswami Maharaj. And here is a picture of him. There's a picture of him. Bhakti Soda Bhakti Sada Goswami Maharaj. Okay, so let me just. And this is from my beloved masters. Yeah. Oops, one second. Let me redo that. I didn't get a chance to change the formatting there. What's going on? I hate it when it does this. Actually, for some reason, okay, let me try Command Shift V. Does that work? No, it's not working. Anyways, let me try again. Command V. Sorry, it's not letting me click the thing. It disappeared before I get to click it. There. Oh my God. Okay. So this is from my beloved masters. Accepting the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Śrīmad Bhakti Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj appeared in the Khulna district of East Bengal, present-day Bangladesh, and was given the name Nanda Dulal. He studied engineering at Ravinshaw College in Cuttack, where he came in contact with Śrīmad Braj Bihari Das Babaji Maharaj, the in charge of the local mat established by Srila Prabhupada. Although Srila Babaji Maharaj was not well educated, he lectured daily on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita as per Srila Prabhupada's order. Because of his illiteracy, his manner of presenting discourses was not particularly scholarly. Nevertheless, the illustrious academics and English professors were so moved by his simplicity that they joined the Gaudiya Mat and became initiated devotees. He often told his listeners, I am but a peon of my Gurudev. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My delivery may be inadequate, but I always put forth my best effort in making sure their message reaches your ears. Since you are learned, kindly correct whatever mistakes I may have made. Impressed by Srila Braj Bihari Babaji Maharaj's simplicity, Sri Nanda Dulal took full advantage of his daily association. Thus, a strong desire arose within him to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Through this pastime, Sri Nanda Dulal taught that the worldly knowledge of platform speakers can never infuse devotion in a person's heart. Although a well-spoken politician may expertly prepare a moving speech in less than half an hour, the effect of his rhetoric is merely temporary. Conversely, the incoherent speech of an entirely illiterate but surrendered devotee is so courageous that it inspires devotion in the hearts of those who hear it, even though it may be devoid of any scriptural references. It was with such surrendered devotees in mind that Srila Prabhupada wrote in his poem Vaishnav K in verse 17, Prana achetar se hetu prachar. He who has life can preach. Not he who is a scholar can preach. No, he who has life can preach. Pran achetar se hetu prachar. When Sri Nanda Dulal notified his greatly pious mother and father of his desire to accept the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, his father encouraged him to join the mat. Wow, that's rare. Usually they don't encourage their children to take the mat. So, if he wants to perform bhajan, Hari Bhajani, he told his son, I will personally take you to Srila Prabhupada and offer you at his lotus feet. Sri Nanda Dulal accepted this proposal, and his mother and father both accompanied him to Sri Dham Mayapur, where Srila Prabhupada agreed to award the three of them Harinam and Diksha initiations. What pious parents! Henceforth, Sri Nanda Dulal became known as Sri Nani Gopal Brahmachari. Nani means butter. Okay, makan, right? So, after offering his son at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, Sri Nanda Dulal's father told his son, I am very pleased you have decided to surrender yourself to Srila Prabhupada. May you always serve our Gurudev's lotus feet. I beg you, please forget me and never return home. It would make me proud if you were to follow this instruction of mine. Wow. I've never heard of a parent being able to say something like that. It's amazing. Please forget me and never return home. It would make me proud if you were able to follow his instructions, of this instruction of mine. In this way, Sri Nanda Dulal's father proved himself to be his son's true guardian. She parama bandhu, she pita mata, Śrī Kṛṣṇa charane jai prema bhakti datta. It's from Śrī Chaitanya Mangal, Madhya Khanda. Or is it Chaitanya Bhagavat? I don't know. Or maybe, yeah. He who gives you loving devotion for the lotus feet of Śrī Kṛṣṇa is your ultimate friend, your father, and your mother. So he was truly his father in every sense, as in a biological sense, but also in the ultimate sense, because he encouraged his son to take shelter, full shelter, and forget him of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's feet. So that very year, in 1930, Sri Nani Gopal Brahmachari was appointed as a teacher at the Thakur Bhakti Vinod Institute in Sri Dham Mayapur, and assigned to the editorial team of the Gaudiya Math's daily newspaper, Dainik Nadia Prakash. Eventually, on the order of Srila Prabhupada, he went on to preach in many cities in India. After Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, Sri Nani Gopal Brahmachari remained under the guidance of Srila Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Mahārāja, who awarded him sannyas and gave him the name Śrīmad Bhakti Saurabh Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj. He became the editor of Shri Saraswat Gaudiya, a monthly magazine published by Shri Gaudiya Sangha, the institution Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj established. By authoring many articles that were printed in various Gaudiya Math magazines, Srila Maharaj contributed to the service of Srila Prabhupada's Brihat Mridanga, his printing press. Additionally, in Vrindavan, he managed the Imli Tala Math for a long time and is largely responsible for its stunningly beautiful preservation. Whenever my Guru Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Dayit Madhav Goswami Maharaj, would visit Vrindavan, Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj would always visit him. Their relationship was very sweet and respectful. Without fail, Srila Maharaj would always insist on bringing Guru Maharaj to Imlitala, where he would serve Guru Maharaj and all the devotees prasad. Okay, so I guess his mat is the one right next to right next to ISKCON. What is it called? It's the meeting place, Nandanacharya Bhavan, right? Okay, so after Srila Goswami Maharaj, after Srila Goswami Maharaj's disappearance, Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj was appointed the Acharya of Sri Gaudiya Sangha. But upon encountering various disturbances, he regarded his appointment as unfavorable for his practice of bhakti and promptly resigned. He submitted his resignation letter in person to the concerned parties, thus demonstrating his complete lack of conceit and selfishness. His simplicity was boundless, and he was entirely niskinchan. He accepted Krishna as his only wealth. Huh. I wonder if he started another mott after that then. Anyways, I'll find out. Through his personal example, Srila Maharaj established that a sadhak must give up all that is unfavorable for the practice of bhakti. He was not attached to the prestige that comes with a high-ranking position. Rather, he was interested only in rendering service to Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. We should be careful not to conclude that Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj gave up his service. He simply decided to perform that service in a situation he found more favorable for the execution of bhakti. After resigning from his post as Acharya of Sri Gaudiya Sangha, he established a mott in Siudi, West Bengal, where he once invited Guru Maharaj to deliver a series of lectures. Serving Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas by any means possible. Śrīmad Bhaktialok Paramahansa Maharaj donated half of his property in Sridham Mayapur to his godbrother Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj, so that Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj could construct a mott there. And Srila Bhaktialok Paramahansa Goswami Maharaj's mott is right next to Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī, like very near to Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj's samadhi, like on that same side of the road also. However, as soon as Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj began laying the foundation, some Bangladeshi refugees pitched tents and began squatting on that land, citing the authority of a particular police officer. Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj was unconcerned about the situation. He told his godbrother, Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, "I will not build anything there. Who wants to get involved in all these problems? I will simply stay with one of my godbrothers." One day, when Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari accompanied me to the Ghat to take a boat to Krishnanagar, he showed me Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj's land and said, "Look, some people are camping there with the support of the police, and Srila Bhakti Sar Maharaj is not very motivated to deal with the matter. Can you help him with this?" "Certainly," I said. "It wouldn't take me more than half an hour to evict all these people. Send word to the father of that policeman. Tell him, Bhāratim Maharaj says, if your son wants to keep his job, the place should be totally empty by the time I return to Mayapur. Otherwise, you must teach your son a lesson by filing a lawful complaint against him." Sripad Krishna Keshav Prabhu did as I requested, and the squatters left the next day after receiving a small compensation for the cost of their tents. Once this land was cleared of all refugees, Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj told me, "Due to my godbrother Sri Krishna Keshav Brahmachari's concern for me, you delivered a harsh message to that policeman's father. Generally speaking, it is inappropriate for someone wearing the garb of a sadhu to speak in such a manner. However, it is your duty to extend yourself as far as necessary in order to serve Sri Guru, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan. There is no fault in such if such service requires you to resort to threats." Okay, so now I know where his mott is. I guess it's still there because he got that land, right? Anyways, yeah, be interesting. Okay, a frank reproach. Guru Maharaj regularly held religious assemblies in many places, including Kolkata,
Puri, and Vrindavan. On the invitation cards, he always included the names of his invited godbrothers, along with brief introductions. Once, one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers became angry to see that Guru Maharaj had not included an introduction next to his name. He told some of his godbrothers, "Why hasn't Madhav Maharaj included an introduction of me? He has introduced himself and his other godbrothers as the founder acharyas of their respective institutions, but he has not mentioned any details about me. This is entirely improper." In reply, Śrīla Bhakti Gosvāmī Maharaj, who is straightforward and without malice, said, "You have only recently acquired a small place that has but 2 rooms. You have not held any festival there. So Shripad Madhav Maharaj has no way of knowing where it is. Are you a sadhu? If so, then you must always remain humble. Does your disposition reflect the meaning of Trinadapi Sunichena, the quality of being humbler than a blade of grass? In the past, Shripad Madhav Maharaj has shown you great respect, even though you are his junior. Why then are you so angry? You cannot even imagine the depth to which Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari, that was Śrīla Bhakti Madhav Goswami Maharaj's name before sannyas, how he has entered the innermost region of Srila Prabhupada's heart. Do not pay attention to all these trivialities. Is that how you say that? Anyways, and thus cheat yourself of the essence, which is association with and service to sadhus. Whose service is most superior? Śrīla Bhakti Goswami Maharaj told me he once posed a question to his godbrothers. He said, according to their respective capacities, the many sannyasis and brahmacharis of the mat are busily engaged from morning till night in various services. Srila Prabhupada's grihastha and vanaprasthi disciples also perform many different services. Do considerations of superiority and inferiority apply to the activities of service? If so, then which service is considered most exalted, and whose service is topmost? After an extensive discussion, they could not reach a solid conclusion, and so they relayed the question to Srila Prabhupada via Sri Paramananda Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada answered with one sentence: the more love one has for the Vaishnavas, the more exalted one's service is. Wow, beautiful. Let's reread that. The more love one has for the Vaishnavas, the more exalted one's service is. That's the criteria. Doesn't matter how effective the service is, how big the service is, any other external thing. The only thing that matters, the inferiority and superiority of service, depends on who has more love for the Vaishnavas. To that extent, that's how exalted one's service is. In other words, there are no big or small services. Rather, it is the servant's mood that makes his service either first, second, or third class. And my Param Gurudev writes about this so beautifully in one of his articles we published, Separation from Srila, the True Experience of Separation. And he gives examples, beautiful examples. And the point is, somebody may even, he gives an example, I think it's of, he didn't give the name, but I think Sundarananda Vidya Vinod, who helped Srila Prabhupada in his pastimes of Vani Vilas Lila, his pastimes of distributing the message of Mahaprabhu. And he was one of his main assistants in that pastime, which caused a revolution in the world. So like he was one of the main, people who helped cause the revolution, through spreading this Vani, like helping him in this Vani Vilas Lila. But when because of a weakness of heart, he left the mat and went to Dhaka, one of his main assistants and his main pastimes, then he wasn't at all perturbed, whatever. But when his servant Panchanana, who is illiterate, when he would be out of his sight for a moment, Srila Prabhupada would become very anxious. Where is Panchanana? Like, he was always so concerned about him. Even though he was illiterate, he wasn't helping in his big mission of, but, and so then the aptitude of bhakti depends, one's aptitude for bhakti depends on, how does he say it? Anyways, sincere service. Anyway, something like that. But yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, so 5 instructions. We're almost at the end of this. One day, while giving darshan to his disciples, Śrīla Bhakti Gosvāmī Maharaj said, "I've spoken many things, and you have all heard so much. Remain engaged in spiritual activities. Thus, you will go somewhere, and one day you will obtain what you seek." Speaking this much, he fell silent. After a few moments, he got up from his chair, and as he went into his room, he asked one of his disciples to speak Harikatha. His disciple spoke on the rather unlimited subject his Sri Gurudev had just conveyed in only a few words. So, "I've spoken many things. Despite his advanced age, Srila Guru Maharaj has tirelessly and repeatedly explains, at great length and in a simple manner, the scriptural truths pertaining to bhajan sadhan and the process to attain the lotus feet of Sri Hari. You have all heard so much." Here, Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, day after day, morning, noon, and night, I've unfailingly spoken Harikatha, sometimes addressing easy subject matters, and at other times tackling difficult ones. You have all heard so much and grasped something, some more than others. Because of your extensive hearing, your path towards the ultimate goal of life has been without difficulty. Remain engaged in spiritual activities. Now that you have understood many profound concepts concerning spiritual life, go forward and follow those teachings properly with firm conviction and according to the guidance offered by the scriptures. Thus you will go somewhere. If you can daily and attentively serve, that is, worship the deities, behold them, study scripture, perform kirtan, chant japa, and meditate, under the guidance of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas, then the day will surely come when you will attain your prime objective. You will one day obtain what you seek. If you heed the previous 4 instructions, then in this 5th stage, you will surely attain the rarely attained and eternally revered divinity, Shri Radha Krishna. You will leave behind this temporary, inferior earthly realm and reach Shri Goloka Vrindavan, where all abide in a perpetual blissful spring. Then your life will be a success. You will be happy, peaceful, immortal, and forever liberated, eternally full of sweetness and laughter. Wow, that was so beautiful. Wow, amazing. Okay, Jai. It's 5 instructions. Okay, so it is, oh my God, it's 8:03. Okay, let's just read one paragraph about Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Gosvāmī Maharaj, and then and then you can find the article here. But yeah, it's a long article. Let's just read one. What section should we read? Let's read this. The Sons of Saraswati. Okay, so once, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Maharaj is saying, once I went with a group of devotees to Śrīla Gosvāmī Maharaj's mat in Vrindavan to have his darshan, but upon our arrival, we learned he was unwell. Just as I was about to depart after paying my respects outside his door, Śrīla Maharaj called me inside. He was a bit displeased that I was ready to leave without first seeing him. I explained, I did not want to bother you since you are feeling unwell. I heard that your doctor has advised you to speak as little as possible. Then Śrīla Maharaj replied, must I simply lay in bed and count the beams on the ceiling? Am I not to speak with the Vaishnavas? We are Saraswati Putra. We are the sons of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. As long as we are speaking Harikatha, we feel healthy. It is when we are cheated of that opportunity that we truly feel ill. So, do you want me to be healthy or sick? Furthermore, the doctors of this world merely prescribe us many instructions for our physical well-being. But we wish to follow the instructions of Sri Guru. Let me just make this. It's really annoying too. Okay, so, well, yeah. but we wish to follow the instructions of Sri Guru, the doctor concerned for our spiritual well-being, who mentioned, no harm can come to one who properly takes the type of food that nourishes the soul. But one who avoids or takes an inadequate amount of such food, soul food, and instead concerns himself with nourishing only the gross and subtle bodies, invites sickness in the truest sense. Unfortunate is the day that we do not receive the chance to hear or speak Harikatha, which is the soul's sustenance. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, the daily service of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, is one of the primary limbs of bhakti. Jai. Okay, so you can read the rest of this on vcvani.com. You'll find this article here about Śrīla Bhakti Hridaya Bhān Gosvāmī Maharaj. Okay, that's our program for today. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Sora Bhakti Sar Gosvāmī Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Hridaya Bhān Gosvāmī Maharaj ki Jai. All the associates of Jagadguru Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, so if anybody needs to go, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to do our daily Chaturmasya program now. We're going through this the Pratam Yam Sadhan. I was just in the process of preparing it when I started 5 minutes late because I was trying to get this. I was trying to prepare this. I didn't finish, actually. I almost finished. But you'll find it. Go to vineofdevotion.com. The last post I made, Chaturmasya begins, planning out our Shikshashtak program. Scroll down and you'll see this button here. It says Pratam Yam Sadhan. So I made new translations. Yeah. And I will continue to update it more today. Okay, so we'll just recite this. Maybe I'll read the translations. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Tam nirvyajam bhajaguna nidhe pavanam pavananam shraddharajanmatiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyananta karanakuhare hantayanam bhanor abhasopi kṣapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. I decided to translate it like Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Thakur has it in Bhajana Hasya. So instead of Guna Nidhim, I'm writing Guna Nidhe. O treasure house of virtues. O Guna Nidhe. Guna Nidhe. Worship him guilelessly. Tam nirvyajam bhaja. The purifier of all purifiers. Pavanam pavananam, are the redeemer of all redeemers, as Srila Bhakti Ballabha Goswami translates it. So worship him guilelessly with a mind fully dyed in faith, fully imbued with faith. Rajan means dyed with, colored by, imbued with Shraddha. And Atitara means exceedingly, fully. Worship he who is Uttama, who is Pavana Pavananam. He is the supreme redeemer of all redeemers, and he is Uttama Shloka Molim. He is the crest jewel, he's the moli of those who are praised in exalted verses. Uttama Shloka, the topmost verses. So, hanta means even if the faintest glimmer, abhasopi, api means even, abhasa, even if the faintest glimmer of the sun-like radiance, the Bhanu means sun, of his name, Yan Nama, if that prodyan, if that rises within the kuhare means within the core, within the cave of the antakarana, of the heart, it dispels, kṣapayati means it dispels the vast darkness, the dvanta rashim, the vast darkness. Rashim means the vast, the mass of dvanta. Dvanta means darkness, of grievous sin, of mahapatak. So tam nirvyajam bhajaguna nidhe pavana pavananam shraddharajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karanakuhare hantaya nama bhanor abhasopi kṣapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. This is verse 10 in Bhajan Rahasya, but it's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and I think it's originally from Padma Puran. So then Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Thakur, he says, Parama Pavana Krishna Tahara Charan Nishkapata Shraddha Saha Koroho Bhajan. Parama Pavana Krishna. Krishna is supremely purifying. Worship his lotus feet with pure-hearted faith. Nishkapat Shraddha Saha. Saha means with. Nishkapat Shraddha. Koroho Bhajan. Engage in his bhajan. Jar nama surya bhasa antare praveshi dhvangsha kore mahapap andhakar rashi. The sunlight glow of his name, the surya bhas, as it enters the heart. Antare means within or within the heart. Praveshi, as it enters the heart. Dhvangsha kore, it dispels mahapap andhakar rashi. It dispels the deep darkness of grievous sin. Now the methodology of Śrī Shikṣashtak. E Shikṣashtaka kohe Krishna lila kram, ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. This Shikṣashtak describes the progressive unfolding of Krishna's pastimes. In this Shikṣashtak, those pastimes arise through the systematic path of bhajan. Ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. Prathame prathama shloka bhaju kichu din, dvitiya shlokete tabe hoto praveen. First, worship the first verse for some time. Then, upon coming to the second, you'll become practiced, you'll become experienced, praveen. Chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakva koro, panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. Through the first 4 verses, gradually bring your bhajan to maturity. So really focus on these first 4 verses. Bring your bhajan to maturity. In the 5th verse, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, take shelter of your own perfected spiritual body. Nija Siddha Deha Varo. Take shelter of that. Embrace that. Accept it. Through the Pancham Shloka, through Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Aishloke siddha dehe radha padashray aramba koriya krame unnati uday. In that verse, Oishloke, by beginning to take shelter of Radha's feet in one's siddha dehe radha padashray, then spiritual advancement gradually awakens. Aramba koriya krame unnati uday. Chai shloka bhajite anartha dure gelo. Tabe jano siddha dehe adhikara hoilo. And remember, the 5th verse is the stage of asakti. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram is asakti. So that's when you are taking full shelter of Radha's feet and you've accepted your siddha deha. And then with the 6th verse, which is bhav, then all your anarthas go away. Chai shloka bhajite anartha dure gelo. Tabe jano siddha dehe adhikara hoilo. So by practicing up to the 6th verse, that's nayanam galara shuddharaya, it's the external symptoms of bhav, then all anarthas are driven far away. Then know that you have attained qualification for the siddha deha, for your spiritual form. Adhikar na labhiya siddha deha bhave, viparjay buddhi janme shaktir abhave. If without proper qualification, one meditates on the siddha deha, mistaken understanding arises due to lack of spiritual strength. Viparyaya buddhi, janme, awakens, takes birth. Shakti abhave, due to a lack of spiritual strength. Abhav means lack of shakti. Savadhane kram dharo jadi siddhi chao, sadhur charita dekhi shuddha buddhi pao. If you desire perfection, if you desire siddhi, then carefully follow the step-by-step path. The kram dharo, follow the step-by-step path. By observing the conduct of sadhus, sadhur charita dekhi, by observing the conduct of sadhus, shuddha buddhi pao, you will gain purified intelligence. Not this viparyaya buddhi, but you'll attain shuddha buddhi. Siddha deha pe krame bhajana korile, ashtakala seva sukha anayase mile. Having received your Siddha deha pe, and practice bhajan in proper sequence, krame bhajana korile, the bliss of service throughout the 8 periods of the day, ashtakala seva, will come effortlessly. Anayase mile. It will come effortlessly. This is the automatic path to get service throughout the 8 periods of the day. The bliss of that service. Seva sukh. Shikshashtaka chintak koro smarana kirtan krame ashtakala seva habe uddipan. So contemplate the shikshashtak and engage in remembrance and kirtan, smaran and kirtan. Krame, gradually, your ashtakala seva will be awakened. Ashtakala seva habe uddipan. Sakala anartha jabe pabe prem dhan. Chaturvarga falgu pray have adarshan. All anarthas will vanish, and you will attain the treasure of prem. The 4 mundane goals of life will appear false and fade from view. Habe adarshan. So that is the methodology of Shikshashtak. This is how we follow the Shikshashtak. Now, verse 1. And we're just going to recite verse 1. We won't go through the entire Shikshashtak. You can do that on your own. But Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahādavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam Vidyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam Purnamrita svadanam Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Śrī Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. I'm not gonna, we all know the translation to this, so I'm just gonna, now I'll sing this song by Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Thakur. And since it's so late, I'm not gonna go through the translation today. You could read it here if you like, but we'll go through it tomorrow. Apita varana kali pavana gora gavaya chana bhava vibora chitta darpana parimarjana kari Krishna kirtana jai chitta vihari hela bhavadava nirvapanna vritti Krishna kirtana jai klesha nirvritti Shreya kumuda vidu jyotsna prakasha Krishna kirtana jai bhakti vilasa Vishuddha vidyavadu jivana rupa Krishna kirtana jai siddha swarupa Ananda payo nidhi Vardhana kirti Krishna kirtana jai Plavana murti Pade pade piyusha swada pradata Krishna kirtana jai Prema vidata Bhakti vinora swapna Snapana vidana Krishna kirtana jai Prema nidana. All glories to Śrī Kṛṣṇa Kirtan, which bathes the soul of Bhakti Vinod and which is the root cause of prem. Okay, so now we come to the verse from Govinda Lilamrita by Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī. Ratrante trasta vrinde rita bahu viravair bodhito kirashari Padyar hridyar ahridyar apisuka shayanad uttito to sakhibi drishto hrishto tadatvo ditarati lalito kakati gi sashanko Radha Krishna Satrishnav api nija nija dham napta talpo smarami. At the end of the night, ratrante, that's ratri ante, awakened by the many sounds of birds sent by an anxious vrinda. So bodhito means awakened by the many sounds of the birds. Bahu vi ravai, sent, irita, sent by trasta vrinda, by anxious vrinda devi. And also, having gotten up. So bodhitos, they're awakened, but then uttito is mean having arisen now. They've finally gotten up. By the pleasant and unpleasant verses, by the hridyar, pleasant, and ahridyar, unpleasant, padhyay, by the verses of Kira and Shadi, by the parrots and the myna birds. Yeah, they have arisen from their blissful sleep. Then observed by their companions. So drishto means observed by sakibi, by the sakis. They are delighted. They're rishto. They are delighted, and they are lalito. They are lovely, owing to the love, to the rati, freshly arisen at that moment. Tadatva means at that moment, the udita rati, the love, the rati, that udita has arisen at that moment. But then all of a sudden, that right now they're happy, rishto, but then all of a sudden, sashanko. They are all of a sudden startled and sashanko, and they're afraid. Oh my God, because kakati gi. Gi means the cries of kakati. Kakati says, Jatila, Jatila. And so, my God, we got to get back home. So then, Radha, Krishna, Satrishna Vapi. So Radha and Krishna, Satrishna Vapi, even though they're longing for each other, they're thirsting for each other, Nija Nija Dhamni, to their own respective abodes, Apta Talpo, they approach their bed, they reach their bed. Apta means, prapta means to get, their talpo, their beds. Smarami, I remember them. I remember that Radha Krishna. I remember that Radha Krishna, Ratri Ante, at the end of the night. So this is the inspiration behind this. Param Gurudev's Mangalarti Sang, Mangala Shri Guru Gora, is based on this verse here. Srila Gurudev writes it. He gives it in his commentary. Gurudev mentions this verse, and he says that this song was based on this verse. So, okay, wait, we need Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Thakur's song. I don't have that open right here. Shoot, one second. Let me just open it on the screen. It's here in the Kartik handbook. I'll add it right after this program. It'll just take me like a minute to add. I didn't get around to that. But here, we'll find it. We'll get it here at the end. Okay. So, Dekhiya Arunodoy, Brinda Devi Vyasta Hoy, Kunje Nana Rava Korailo, Shukashari Padya Shuni, Uthe Radha Nilamani, Sakigan Dekhi Hrishta Hoilo, Kalo Chitta Sulalita Kakatira Rave Bhita Radha Krishna Satrishna Hoiya, Nija Nija Grihe Gela Nibhrite Shayana Koila, Duhe Bhaji Shelila Smariya, Hoye Lila Smaro Yar, Gao Krishna Nama, Krishna Lila Premadhan, Pabe Krishna Dhamma, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. So as you know, well, maybe for some devotees in Europe or something, or in England, I think it might be Nishanta right now. But we're doing this program we're not like practicing this right now. This is just to become familiar with it so that on your own you can follow this program. So we're just trying to understand the meaning of the words and become familiar with it. And then, yeah, if the more, as I mentioned before, the more you understand the words, the easier it is for it to just automatically stick in your mind. And then even if you're getting ready, you can still recite it, like while you're putting on tilak and while you're doing stuff like that. You can meditate on this tam nirvajam bhajaguno nitim, like that, and all these verses. So, all right. Or when you're chanting Harinam, also, if you're waking up early and you're chanting Harinam, you can even you don't even need to recite it. You can just meditate on your mind, if you like. But we really need to focus on that song, Pita Varana Kalipavana Gora. And we're going to do this for 2 weeks, and then we'll move on to the next one, the Dutiya Yam Sadan, the second Yam Sadan. Okay. Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Swapashad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi ki jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, his Bhajan Rahasya ki jai, Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad ki jai, his Govinda Lila Mrita ki jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Dayita Mādhava, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Śrīla Bhakti Balavatita Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Shira Goswami Maharaj ki jai, all the associates of Jaguru Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Śrīla Bhakti Hriday Ban Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Tadaya Shubha Tirubhav Titi ki jai, Jai Śrīla Bhakti Saurabh Bhakti Sarma Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Tadaya Shubha Tirubhav Titi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shinitai Gaur, Jai Shri Chaturmasya Vrat ki jai, Vrat Padankari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Jai Shri Chaitanya Shikshastak ki jai, Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees, Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Champak Mataji, and all the lots of devotees today on YouTube and Facebook. Haribo, Krishna Mai Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, Braj Lovers, Ladini Shakti Didi, Gopali Didi, and Sham and Rupa and Raj, Rupa and Raj, Haribo. And yeah, Ladini Shakti, I already said Ladini Shakti, right? And Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, and all the other devotees joining. I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there, and Rohini Nandan Prabhu. And also devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi and Jaydev Prabhu, Revati Didi. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we will now, maybe let's just have one last day of reading the first verse, like some of the commentaries. Just the very last one. Because Chaturmasya we should. But then the day after tomorrow, we will finally begin verse number 2 of Shikshashtak. So, yeah. And then I'm hoping to get through, like maybe every 2 weeks, go through another verse. So, all right, Haribol. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream for today? Okay, see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Haribol. Haribol, sorry, Shri Mataji.